Today, we're going to look inside a sharp spin. So the reason I started Orsicle, which is a website and a YouTube channel, was because I was just appalled by the amount of circular waste and plastic waste I was creating in my operating theatre. So this is the amount of plastic waste that I created just from one hysterectomy I performed on a given day. And you can see that I've got about at least 6 bags of plastic waste, which is for high temperature incineration. And this is not acceptable. So here is a sharp spin. Sharp spins are scattered around the operating theatre. I won't say which hospital this comes from, but this is a standard sharp spin. Actually, this one is in an anaesthetic room. But I counted last night, there were 6 sharp spins in the anaesthetic room and operating theatre that I was working in. And as you can see, it's possible to put a little phone down there and take a photograph. You don't want to do it too often because someone will accuse you of looking for fentanyl scraps, but I've done that. And this is what I could see inside there, an assortment of sharps and bits of plastic. Here are a couple of glass vials. Well, they've had the tops broken off. They are sharp. They contain contaminated drugs. That's fair cop. We have some needles. They're quite difficult to see in this mix of plastic and vials, but the needles are indeed sharps, and yeah, they should go in this bin for high temperature incineration. We have metal ring pulls. Yeah, they should go in there too, because they are sharp, and we need to keep them away from the dangers that they can cause. So I completely accept this, although, you know, a sharp ring pull wouldn't go into a sharp spin if you had it at home, and probably is the equivalent to a Coca-Cola bottle top or something like that. But what about this? This is a needle. It's been resheathed, so the needle needs to go in, but the sheath certainly doesn't, and you should never resheath a needle. The sheath is recently sterile. In other words, when the packet was opened, it was sterile. It's clean. It's polypropylene. And here is a resheathed needle with a syringe attached. And again, the sheath is recently sterile, polypropylene. The syringe, very, very mildly drug contaminated, probably not gone near a patient because it's used to draw up drugs rather than administer them in the anaesthetic room. And it's recently sterile polypropylene. We've then got the vial caps. I can tell you right now, the vial caps have never touched a drug. They've never touched a patient. They're not as sharp. They're medical grade polypropylene. There's no label to remove, no glue to clean off, nothing to sort, easily recycled. Shouldn't be going in here. Then there's a needle sheath. Again, as said previously, they've never touched a drug. They've never touched a patient. They are definitely not a sharp. It's medical grade polypropylene. There's no label to remove, no glue to clean off, nothing to sort, and easily recycled. We have here some so-called contaminated plastic vials. These are vials containing drugs. They're very dangerous drugs. The one on the left is lidocaine, a local anesthetic, and the one on the right is paracetamol. I wonder whether you throw your paracetamol packets into high temperature incineration at home. Of course you don't. They've never touched a patient. They're low density polyethylene, easily recyclable. They obviously need a label removing, and they might need glue removing. They definitely need washing, and they'll need drying because they're hydrophilic, and they would create air bubbles when recycling if you don't dry them. However, they're definitely not a sharp, and they should definitely be recycled. So we have here some other contaminated plastic vials. These ones are slightly different. They've been contaminated by even more hazardous drugs. One is water for injections. Wow. And the other is salty water. They've never touched a patient. Again, they're low density polyethylene. They're easily recyclable. They need their labels removed. They need their glue removed. You probably don't need to wash them, but they do need drying. They're definitely not as sharp and should be recycled. Here is something else, a glass vial holder. This is either polystyrene or PET. I obviously didn't stick my hand in there to dig it out. I don't know, so I can't read it. It's almost certainly recyclable. It's toxic for home recycling, so you wouldn't want to take it home and melt it down, but it should certainly go in a recycling bin. And finally, a laryngoscope. Don't know what you make of that. So my conclusions are that there's lots going into the recycling bin that shouldn't be going into the recycling bin. Please don't put it in there. Thank you very much.